You want to see some vintage? I'll show you some vintage. Today I'll be sharing a look at part of my Pokemon card collection. It's one of the most expensive binders that I own. Actually, wait, no. It is the most expensive binder I own.
It's also one of my heaviest. Let's go.
This sucker is holding over 1,000 Pokemon cards, ranging from the original 1999 base set to 2002 Neo Destiny, with some added extra spice with some band cards. Join me on a trip down memory lane as we get our nostalgia fix. So as you can see, we have a rather Snorlax size of a binder here. It's 4 rows and 4 columns, so you can fit 16 cards in here. It's one of the reasons why I chose to go with the top deck binder. This is a binder that I will not be, putting in my backpack going to like card party with or something. This is only my personal binder that I keep complete collections in. We'll begin starting with the base set here. This is the OG 1999 base set, and we have all 16 holo cards here, all in one page in their shiny cardboard glory. Here's a nice close-up of them. I do have a few shadowless cards like the Chansey, Hitmonchan, Magneton, and Poliwrath. All the unlimited cards are in near mint condition, but the shadowless cards, they're probably lightly played or so. The entire base set is complete in terms of the unlimited. Here is the Charizard from base set. It is in near mint condition. Hardly any whitening to, on the back. There might be like a dot or two here and there. Carefully take this out of its sleeve, that way you can see the holo foil. There aren't any like obvious scratches to this thing. It would be a very good contender to get graded at PSA. However, I am not really big on sending my cards in to be graded. I'm more of a binder collector. Let's put that guy back in safely, and we'll put him back in the binder. And we'll move on. Machamp is still in its packaging, the original packaging from the Game Boy that it came in. I do have a complete set of the shadowless cards for base set when it comes to the commons, uncommons, and rares. I'll take you down here and see, that way you can get a closer look at some of the cards here. All this artwork, very nostalgic, especially for, guys like me who grew up in around 1999. And I was 10 years old in 1999 when Pokemon was released. Can't talk. And so I was perfect demographic, the target demographic for that. Being 10 years old, same age as Ash. Everybody in my school, pretty much in the world, was collecting Pokemon in some form. Cards were huge, video games were huge. It was all over video games, and it was like the news was talking about it. They had the movies and the show and cereal boxes and snacks. It was a great time, to be honest. I really can't think of anything these days that can really match that impact that Pokemon had. Real briefly, I'll show you how the differences between the shadowless versus non-shadowless when it comes to the trainer card. It's not too obvious. Let me zoom in right here. There is a slight color differentiation between the two. However, the best way to really look is the dates on the bottom that you see here. I'm going to zoom in a little closer. That way you can see. The top card, it says, 95, 96, 98, and 99. That is how you know you have a shadowless card, is that if it ends in 99. If it ends in 98 here, that means it is unlimited, with Imposter Professor Oak just staring at us right there. But yeah, trainer cards, it was a little, you gotta double check if you're building a shadowless collection. You might even have some shadowless cards in your collection, you don't even realize it. All right, well, moving on here. Oh, I guess that's not done with base set. We're almost done, but that is it with base set. Now we move on to Jungle, which is the second set that they came out with. Only 64 cards, but I love how, with this binder, you can get just one side, all holo cards, and the other side, just all the non-holos. You got the Clefables on both sides, and the Flareons on both sides. Take you a little closer to check out some of these older vintage cards. Underneath the first edition Clefable, there is an unlimited Clefable. So as I run into first edition cards, I'll purchase them or trade for them and put them on top of the unlimited ones. But yeah, going back, to 99, like schools were banning these cards. I remember being in class, and there was a girl that wanted to trade her base set Poliwrath for my base set Alakazam, and I didn't do the trade because I knew Alakazam was going to be, it's more valuable. But it just goes to show that the impact that that it made. That even during class and recess, it was Pokemon all day long, to the point where the school had to send letters out, and no more Pokemon can be, no more cards can be brought into schools. Moving on here, we have Fossil. Again, I'm putting the holos on one side and non-holos on the other, with just 2 empty spots. That way on the following page we can continue and end with Fossil. Short set compared by today's standards. These days we have 200 plus cards for each set. But back then, you can buy maybe 2 booster boxes and nearly complete the entire set. Not that I ever did. I basically got booster packs for my birthday and Christmas, and maybe sprinkled here and there throughout the year. But I never took care of my cards back then like I do today. We all practiced, as Pat would say, bad binder behavior. All these cards now they're all sleeved. And next up is Team Rocket. This is a really cool set. This is the first time they introduced a dark Pokemon in the title of their cards. And the artwork is it's a lot more edgy and dark, You're not going to find many cutesy, cuddly Pokemon here. Dark Dragonite, Dark Dugtrio, Dark Hypno, Dark Machamp, with a few first edition cards sprinkled around here and there. This was a great set. I do have the cards a little bit out of order for Team Rocket, just because I wanted to have, the cards side by side, on the pages. So I had to move, for example, I think it was the Rainbow Energy. Rainbow Energy should be where Alakazam is, but because I wanted to have all the cards side by side on each page, like a mirror image, had to move the Rainbow Energy down here. Continuing onwards. Yeah, I was resistant at first when it came to Pokemon, though, just because everybody was on the bandwagon, but I've stayed with the franchise, ever since I was a kid. Not so much in the TCG. I did fall out of the TCG around the Neo era. Probably Neo Revelation is when I stopped collecting Pokemon cards. This is Dark Raichu, which was the very first secret rare that Pokemon created. So it is number 82, or no, number 83 out of 82. After the Rocket set comes Gym Heroes. I do have a Brock's Rhydon that's actually in transit right now, so I'm going to swap out the Japanese version and put in the English. I'm mostly an English card collector. This set I am still working on. There are a couple cards I'm still missing here and here, and I would like to replace the Rocket's Moltres that's right here to get an English one. It's been pretty hard to find one at my local game shop, but they did have a Japanese version, so I decided to pick that one up, and just to fill up a binder slot. This also had a lot of cool artwork. I just recently picked up the Sabrina's Gengar, as well as the Misty's Trainer card. Most of the uncommons, commons, and rares that I have are all in first edition. There's I don't know if I'm going to go first edition with also the holos, but the local game shop that I shop at, they had a full complete set of first edition commons, uncommons, and rares, so I decided to purchase those. But yeah, I did drop out of the TCG around the Neo era, but during the Neo era is also when I started competitively playing the game. I actually learned how to play the TCG, because a lot of us back then, we didn't know how to play the TCG. We were just collecting the cards, But I have the original badges that I collected. Here's from Gen 2, all 8 badges. you would have to go to the card shop, you know, every week and play, and they would put stamps on this card that you have, and once you accumulate enough stamps, you would get these badges. So I just keep them there on the backboard, you know, part of the display. It's part of the Pokemon history. I had a Fire and Electric deck back then, using Typhlosion and Ampharos line of cards. It was, you know, I was 10 or 11 years old, so I didn't know what the meta was back then. I'm pretty sure Sneasel was one of the top cards you can play in your decks back then. Next up is Gym Challenge, and I'm still working on Gym Challenge. It's almost done, not quite there. There's more cards to complete than Gym Heroes, that's for sure. But we do have a Blaine's Charizard. It is in, I would say actually in mint condition. I would like to get it in English, but it is hard. Missing a couple cards here and there. Got a first edition mint Rocket Zapdos. And again, I have the complete set of rares and uncommons and commons in first edition, except for Pinsir and Muck. Those are the only two that are not first edition. I might just have to pull the trigger and purchase them on TCG Player and complete the set for first edition. We do have two, Unlimited and first edition Sabrina's Gengar. All the anything that you see with first edition here for the rares and commons and uncommons, underneath them is also the unlimited cards. So I'll bring you down here and show the cards off here. The vintage, you know, Wizard of the Coast era cards, they just hit different than the modern day cards today. Not saying that the modern day cards are bad. They do have a lot of great artworks, especially the illustration rares, but it's just some of these artworks, like check out the Ivysaur, you know? It's rare that you just don't see these cards that much anymore. It is a piece of Pokemon card history. Alright, moving onwards. More cards here for Gym Challenge. So yeah, I am still currently trying to complete Gym Challenge, Gym Heroes, Neo Revelation, Neo Destiny. I have a lot of the sets complete still, but quite a few sets that need to be completed still. Here's where Gen 2 starts, but before we get to Gen 2, I want to take a little focus here on some of these other cards here, like this Chansey. I believe it's called Lucky Chansey, and it's from the Japanese Gym Challenge. We've never gotten this card, I believe, in English, so when I saw my LGS have it, I decided to purchase it, along with also this Nidoking from, I think it's a Koro Koro promo, if I'm not mistaken. It's a card I never saw before, and when I was just going through some random cards, I saw it in a box at the LGS and decided to purchase it. I have a random Brock's Onyx there for some reason, I'm not sure. But there's also these other cards here that are very unique that never were released in English. This came from a starter deck, I believe, in Japan, and there were 3 of them with Blastoise, or the Squirtle line, Charmander line, and Bulbasaur line, I believe. So I randomly found in a box of Japanese cards at the LGS these cards, along with also these vending series cards here, Kadabra and Poliwhirl. Kadabra was pretty recent. I think I picked that up like 2 weeks ago or so. And then also this Skarmory. I believe this is a promo card as well from Japan, which completes a set of image with Lugia and Ho-Oh, and I think there might be one more card as well that's part of the set. Wait, you're telling me you've made it this far into the video? Thank you, you're awesome. Quick favor though, help a fellow PokeTuber out by hitting the subscribe and like buttons. It helps feed the YouTube algorithm to get my video out there, puts fuel in my tank to help me keep going, and also a smile on my face knowing that I'm making content you guys enjoy. Alright, back to the video. But moving onwards, we have Neo Genesis. Again, this is like when I started really getting into the competitive scene of Pokemon. I do have a couple first editions sprinkled here and there. Neo Genesis is 100% completed. There's the Lugia. That's the most expensive card in that set. Skarmory and Steelix. This is when they introduced the Dark-type Pokemon and Steel-type Pokemon. Moving on. But once, you know, even though I got out of the TCG when the Neo sets came, the video game still kept me in the franchise. I kept up with all the video games. Every time the new generation comes out, you know, I would buy one of the versions, whether it's Ruby or Sapphire or Diamond Pearl, and I would just keep up with the Pokemon franchise. That way I would just continue playing the Pokemon games and collecting all the Pokemon that way. It wasn't until I think 2016 when Pokemon Evolutions and Generations came out that I really got back into the card game, because I heard they were reprinting the base set. And that was for Pokemon Evolutions. This is, here's Neo Discovery. We're only missing 2 cards from that set, and one of them is, I think, Smeargle, and then the other one is Ursaring. The Smeargle, this is what the artwork looks like for Smeargle, except just for Holo. You need the Holo version. And then Ursaring, same with Ursaring. We need that down there. Just haven't found it in any of the game shops, and haven't traded for it yet. Haven't found anybody with it, so still looking for those 2. Maybe at Card Party 2, Gen 2. I'm imagining there's going to be a lot of Generation 2 nostalgia there, so maybe we can complete this binder here. Let me take you down here, which show some of the holos that are from Neo Discovery. Some of them just have some of the best artworks for some of these Pokemon, like, you know, this Espeon, which is really rare nowadays. Kabutops has, I think it's probably one of the best Kabutops artworks that you can find. This Umbreon right here, it's just soaring in price now. You know, when I first got it, maybe a year ago or so, it was probably worth only like $80 or something like that. And now I think it's going for maybe 180 or 180 plus. It's really crazy. Let me take it out here. That way you can get a closer look at this Umbreon. This is the original Moonbreon. It's in pretty good shape. No dents, no creases. Maybe, you know, a few nicks here and there on with whitening on the sides, but it's actually in pretty good shape. I would probably say probably lightly played for this one. Put that back. And moving onwards, this is more Neo Discovery. But yeah, kept up with the video games and bought every single generation, one game of, you know, part of the pairs. So I bought Ruby and Diamond. What else was there? I bought Pokemon Y, I believe. Here we have Neo Revelation. Is probably my least completed set. I didn't really have a strong start with this one when it came to holos. I didn't really have many cards, so it's taken me a while to complete this set. I originally thought this was in English when I found it at the LGS, but nope, it's actually in German, I believe. Let me zoom in here. Yeah. And the other foreign card is Blissey Hytera or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, Neo Revelation is probably when I dropped out of the Pokemon TCG scene. But the Pokemon Generations and Evolutions definitely got me back in. Took a little break during Sun and Moon, and then I came back during the big boom of 2020. Everybody was getting into vintage Pokemon card collecting during COVID, and I totally got onto that bandwagon, and that's really when I started collecting this binder here. I started purchasing stuff from my LGS, and just getting really deep into purchasing Wizard of the Coast vintage cards mainly. I wasn't too much into modern. However, once I started completing sets like Base Set and Jungle and Fossil, I started, you know, getting into the competitive scene more in the TCG, into modern. And so when they released the Calyrex VMAX deck, League Battle deck, I bought it, and I started winning some small shop tournaments, you know, with that deck. I modified it a little bit here and there, but yeah, that once I got into that was during Astral Radiance is when I primarily got into that. Into modern, and then I started collecting Astral Radiance, and then it was just downhill from there. Then I started watching Pokemon YouTubers like PokeRev, PokeVault, and then DPM. I found out about him and started watching him with my wife, you know, every time there's a new video. And we just got our Card Party 2 tickets, so we're fully invested into Pokemon cards right now. Neo Destiny. This is one of my favorite sets of all time, actually, and my favorite card of all time is this Light Arcanine right here. It's a really beautiful card. really, really nice artwork. In fact, a lot of the artwork in Neo Destiny is some of the best you'll find. Surprisingly, I do have a lot of them in first edition. This came from a collection from my friend who, was selling it off, so he knew it was going to a good home, and he gave me a really good deal on all these cards. And I really appreciate it. There's very few cards in Neo Destiny that I'm missing. 3 on this page, and 2 here, counting the Japanese Dragonair, which I would like to get in English. Most of these cards, the uncommons and commons, are all in first edition. I believe my friend got a booster box, probably for Christmas or something, and that's how he, he sold me these first edition cards here. The ones that are not first edition are the ones that I picked up from a card store. But yeah, this is the first time they introduced light Pokemon. So you see like a light Azumarill. There's also light Dragonite and light Togetic. I do not have those. Those are 2 of the ones that I'm missing here. But this Dark Gengar, I'm sure that a lot of people love that card. Really weird looking artwork. But yeah, light Arcanine, that's my favorite Pokemon card of all time. My favorite Pokemon of all time is Raichu. Ever since Generation 1, where we see Ash go and face off against Raichu and Lieutenant Surge back in Gen 1, and Raichu just like pummels and beats the crap out of Pikachu. That is what made Raichu just my favorite. It's actually, he's, put up a little card of Raichu right over here too. Always in my set. Along with some other Pokemon, borders here. Alright, well, moving onwards, we're almost done here. There's only just a couple more pages left, 2 more pages after this. This is the end of Neo Destiny here. And as you can probably see, I have 2 Shining cards here. Shining Celebi and Shining Tyranitar. Both of them are in first edition. I don't have any of the other Shining cards. I'm still trying to get those, but those are pretty hard to find. And they're extremely expensive too. Especially that Shining Charizard. I doubt I'll be getting that anytime soon. I guess I can show you the Shining Tyranitar while here. People are probably calling me crazy, like, why are you not, grading this sucker? Well, it's because, like I said before, I am not really much of a PSA grader, more of a binder collector. But if I were ever to get, 2 of these guys, then I would probably send this guy into PSA. He's not terribly, yeah, he has like a little whitening right there and maybe a little grime here, but there's no creases. No, it's not damaged in any way. There might be some, I think there's some, yeah, you can see some scratching on the hollow foil. It's not terrible, but it could definitely be worse. For a first edition Tyranitar, this one's actually in really good shape. The Celebi, on the other hand, I believe it's borderline, I would say it's probably moderately played. Let me pull it out here. It's been a while since I looked at it. Here. There's a little bit of whitening at the top, you can see. There is a binder bend right there. So somebody put this in a ring binder back in the day. Don't use those anymore. You would be practicing bad binder behavior. Okay. So that's it for this particular binder when it comes to the main sets. The last page that I have is more for fun. This is my band page, where we have a Japanese card and the English counterpart. So for obvious reasons, you can probably tell why some of these cards would be banned, like Misty's Tears. Why would this be banned? Well, you tell me, obviously. Also, Koga's Ninja Trick. Obviously why it's banned. Some cards you don't even understand what's going on in the image. Like, what is going on there? I do not know. Other cards, like Sabrina's Gaze here, she's, there's 2 probably reasons why it's been banned. 1, she's holding a Master Ball, and 2, that middle finger is really high up. We have Magmortar here, where it's probably the most recent ban card, the most modern card banned. And I believe this one was banned because, his arm is like a gun barrel pointing right at the screen. And this was happening during, I think it came out during the Dark Knight shootings that happened in the movie theaters, unfortunately. And so That's why this particular card was changed for America. Grimer here, well, in Japan, he's looking up this girl's skirt, and so they changed the eyes for the American version. The trainer cards over here, like arcade game and card flip game, they didn't want to endorse gambling or slot machines or anything like that, even though it obviously looks like a slot machine there. That's why they changed it for the American audience. And then obviously Jinx in every iteration, well, almost every iteration, which is kind of confusing to me. Here, you know, in Japan, her skin is black, and for America's audience, they change it to, you know, purple. So there's the base set, Gym Challenge, and Gym Heroes. However, for Neo Revelation and for, you know, Gym Challenge here, for these sets of cards, it's not changed at all. So that's why these the Jinx cards are a little confusing to me. Sabrina's Gengar, I have the English variant in the Gym Heroes slot area, but so I don't have a duplicate that I can put here, but there's like a graveyard scene in the back, and I guess they just didn't want a cemetery or something. But that's the band page. I thought I would have a little fun, you know, creating a unique collection like that. And at the end, that's pretty much it. That's all I have for this particular binder. I hope you enjoyed looking through this binder with me. I like sharing my collection. Well, that pretty much wraps it up, guys. Thanks for taking this trip down memory lane with me. Please leave a like on this video. Like I said before, it gives me fuel. Comment below if you'd like to see more of my binders. If you're interested in seeing my Obsidian Flames stop motion pack battle, there's a link in the description below. And please subscribe if you'd like to see more of the stop motion unboxings. Keep on collecting, and I'll see you guys on the next one.